Jerry Sandusky sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison. The convicted pedophile will spend the rest of his life behind bars. The one thing that became clear today, it's not the final chapter of the Sandusky saga. David?
No, indeed, Peggy. The judge chose not to hand down the maximum sentence of more than 400 years, instead choosing what will be the equivalent of life behind bars. 4 of Sandusky's victims spoke out in court, at times tearfully to Sandusky. Sandusky read a short statement where he continued to profess his innocence. And shortly after today's hearing, his attorney promised an appeal and called the whole thing a conspiracy. And that's where Channel 11's Rick Earl picks up our big story coverage live at the Center County Courthouse in Bellefonte. Rick.
Well, David, Jerry Sandusky rambled on for 15 minutes. It was a very bizarre speech where he talked about a horse, a dog, even life in prison. In the end, an attorney for one of the victims called his speech the ramblings of a madman. Handcuffed and shackled, a much thinner Jerry Sandusky escorted into court. Inside, he proclaimed his innocence and talked about being an underdog, even referencing a horse. Quote, "The movie Seabiscuit is a favorite of mine," he said. "I love people who won't quit." He talked about meditating in prison and missing his family. His speech then took a strange turn. Quote, "I've forgiven, I've been forgiven, I've comforted others, I've been comforted, I've been kissed by dogs, I've been bit by dogs," perhaps alluding to what he called a conspiracy to bring him down. Prosecutor Joe McGettigan lashed out at Sandusky's lack of remorse and responsibility.
His statement today was a masterpiece of banal self-delusion, completely untethered from reality and without any acceptance of responsibility. It was entirely self-focused, as if he again were the victim. It was, in short, ridiculous.
We're all entitled to our opinions. You know, opinions are like noses. We all have one.
In a one-on-one interview with me, Sandusky's attorney defended his client's courtroom ramblings and claims he didn't have enough time to prepare for a trial. He called it a rush to judgment.
I'm not saying that people got together and said, we're going to ramrod this case. I just think it was a mindset. He's guilty as hell. It doesn't matter if we give him 6 more months. It isn't going to make a difference, so let's get it over with now.
Now, Jerry Sandusky showed little emotion when speaking to the court today. He did become teary-eyed when he talked about his wife and his family. He will be 98 years old when he's first eligible for parole. That is the very latest. Reporting live at the Center County Courthouse in Bellefonte, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
All right, Rick, thanks very much. We heard from a victim in today's hearing. The tears, pain, and private anguish and I of others have suffered. It is real. It's painful. It will be inside me forever. One of the jurors who convicted Sandusky returned to the Center County Courthouse today for the sentencing to see that justice was done.
Confirmation that, hey, we made the right decision, you know, and this was found out. You know, he was found out, evaluated, found out to be a sexually violent predator, you know, and so that backs up what he said. You know, at the same time, his statement is very frustrating. You know, it's an insult to our decision that we made.
And we received this statement from Penn State President Rodney Erickson. It says, quote, "While today's sentence cannot erase what has happened, hopefully it will provide comfort to those affected by these horrible events and help them continue down the road to recovery."